More than 30,000 years ago, Neanderthals and all closely related species disappeared from the face of the earth. The human species came to dominate the world. Neanderthals, known as the Ice People, resembled modern humans but were shorter, more robust, and skilled hunters. During this period, Ao, who lives in northern Siberia, is out hunting with his friend Baro. They hunt a deer and in the middle of the long snowy desert set off for home with their sleds. After hours, they reach their hidden cave and one of the group members quickly calls out to Ao. When Ao enters the cave, he sees that his wife Unek is giving birth. Shortly after, their daughter is born and they name her Nia. Everyone celebrates the birth and a great feast is held. Terrifying screams rise from outside. When Ao and Baro go outside, they find the lifeless body of one of their warriors. This shows that the creature known as the beast in the region has returned. Ao worries for his daughter's safety and decides to track the beast together with Baro. They want to stop the creature completely. On the way, they find a huge footprint in the snow. This footprint frightens Baro, because in the past he was attacked by the beast and lost one of his eyes to its claws. Despite all the difficulties, Ao and Baro continue searching for days. Finally, Ao finds the beast's trail and sees that the creature is actually a polar bear. Baro emerges from beneath the snow to confront the animal, but the bear knocks him out with a single blow. As a result, Ao is forced to fight the bear alone. When the beast catches him and starts biting his neck, Ao seizes the opportunity and fights back by stabbing it with his knife. Unable to withstand the effects of its wounds, the beast finally collapses to the ground and dies. Hours later, when Ao regains consciousness, he survives the freezing Siberian cold thanks to the bear's pelt. Unfortunately, Baro is not so lucky. Ao is forced to leave his friend's body behind and begins the long walk to bring the bear back to his people. When Ao arrives home, he runs excitedly to his family, but there are two strangers watching him from a distance without being noticed. When Ao enters his cave, he is confronted with a horrifying reality. Unak, Nea, and the entire clan have been slaughtered. He suspects that this was done by modern humans, and his suspicion is quickly confirmed, because two humans enter the cave and attack him. A fierce struggle ensues. Even though he is alone, Ao overpowers both of them and stops just as he is about to deliver the final blow with his dagger. Despite his desire for revenge, he does not want to take another life and allows the attackers to escape. Now Ao is left completely alone as the last surviving Neanderthal of his clan. As he sits amidst the devastation, he remembers his childhood and how different those days were. 25 years earlier, while Ao and his twin Oa were playing by the seaside, they heard a strange sound coming from the forest. When they followed the source of the sound, they found a corpse sitting on the ground. There is a flute around its neck. Ao likes the flute and wants to take it to his father. His father, the leader of the clan, has been ill for days and is growing weaker. Everyone is desperate because of the mysterious illness affecting most of the village. Ao tries to play a melody on the flute to soothe his father. As he thinks about this moment, Ao wanders aimlessly through the snow and encounters a pack of wolves watching him from a distance. By imitating the howling of the animals, he manages to drive them away, but exhaustion and sorrow overwhelm him. He collapses and falls asleep in the snow. At that moment, another memory comes to life. During the time when disease ravaged the group, the Neanderthals were forced to trade weapons, food, and even some of their children with a rival tribe in order to survive. Ao is chosen among these children and is separated from his brother Oa. Before they part, Oa gives him his flute as a farewell. From that day on, the brothers are separated, but over time, Ao becomes friends with Baro, a young man from the new tribe. However, now that he has lost everyone he loved, Ao sets out to return to his old tribe, hoping to find his lost brother. He walks for days and nights, crossing the snowy desert, and finally reaches northern Europe, filled with forests and a warmer climate. Ao wants to rest by a fire, but suddenly, a herd of cattle appears and panicking, Ao climbs up a tree. He feels a sense of awe for nature and living creatures. The next day, while trying to hunt a wild boar in the forest, he falls into a pit. A few seconds later, a tribe of people with painted faces appears and takes Ao captive. When he is brought to the village, people find him strange because of his coarse facial features and hairy appearance. Although Ao tries to explain that he comes in peace, no one understands him because he doesn't speak the language and he is locked in a cell. Shortly after, another couple from a different tribe is also captured and brought to the village. The young man is taken away by the tribe leader Aguk to be sacrificed. Although his wife Aki screams and tries to stop it, she fails, and the young man is killed before her eyes with a dagger plunged into his heart. This horrific scene horrifies Ao, and he sees these people with painted faces as completely savage. After the sacrificial ceremony, Aguk comes to the cell and begins to paint Ao's face, as if he wanted to make him part of the tribe. But Ao refuses this. This angers Aguk, and the leader swears to kill Ao. Knowing he needs to escape, Ao looks for a plan and spots a beehive hanging among the trees. With great effort, he frees himself from his bonds. He covers his body with mud and runs toward the spot where the beehive is with the stick in his hand. When he reaches the hive, he knocks it down from the tree, causing the bees to scatter everywhere. In this panic, all the people with painted faces, including Aguk, flee desperately. Ao, on the other hand, runs toward the forest. Amidst the chaos, Aki also decides to seize the opportunity and escape, following Ao. The Neanderthal goes to the lake and washes the mud off himself. Then, while searching for a safe place, he finds a cave full of bats. Thanks to her connection with nature, Ao enters without fear. After a while, Ao lights a fire and tries to sleep. Unnoticed, Aki sneaks into the cave and takes refuge in another corner. Hours later, screams coming from inside the cave wake Ao up. When she goes outside, she sees that Aki has given birth. Just as she witnessed Nea's birth, this time she witnesses the arrival of a baby girl into the world. Aki names her baby Vana. Even though they can't speak to each other, Ao tries to help them. She gathers wood to make the fire bigger and keeps them warm. The next day, she wants to hunt 2 birds and bring them food. However, since Aki is afraid of her appearance, she protects her baby and asks Ao to stay away. At night, while Aki is sleeping, Ao quietly takes Vana and leaves the cave. Ao believes that this baby is the reincarnation of her own daughter Nea and is determined to protect her. When morning comes, Aki realizes her daughter is missing and angrily swears to take revenge on Ao. She grabs her spear and finds Ao and Vana resting in the forest. She is about to attack. But just at that moment, Vana starts to cry. Ao picks up the baby and soothes her by holding her close. Still, Aki doesn't trust her and suddenly launches an attack. At that very moment, new people from the face-painted tribe appear and try to capture them again. But Ao defeats them and saves them both. Although Aki still doesn't fully trust Ao, she decides to continue traveling with her to find a safe place to raise her daughter. As they walk, Ao starts seeing visions of her twin Oa beating on a log like a drum. Aki doesn't see anything. However, these visions remind Ao of the last places her sister was seen and make her think that Oa might still be nearby. As they continue on their way, Ao's condition worsens. Her nose bleeds, her head throbs, and she starts coughing. It's clear that she has caught the same illness that killed her father. Despite the hardship, Aki carries Ao and Vana on her back. Before long, she reaches her old camp. She lights a fire and prepares a medicine from the herbs she has gathered. Days pass, and thanks to the young woman's care, Ao's health gradually improves. During this time, the bond between them grows even stronger. After a long period of recovery, Ao fully regains her strength. Aki shows her which herbs she used to make the medicine. Now knowing she can heal her people, Ao becomes even more determined to find her brother and help those left behind. But soon after, they realize that Aguk and his warriors are watching them from the hilltop. Ao and Aki quickly take shelter in a cave. As they move deeper into the cave, they reach a section where the walls are covered with drawings. Ao shudders when she sees the drawings. Aki, on the other hand, immediately realizes that they belong to her own people. The young woman spills some paint on the ground, presses her hand into it, and leaves a mark on the wall. She has Ao do the same. The 2 handprints stand side by side. They remain as a sign of their presence in the cave. This moment strengthens the bond between them, and Aki feels that she can now truly trust Ao. Days pass, and at last, they manage to leave the cave. During this time, Ao and Aki begin to understand each other's language. Aki teaches Ao how to throw the spear properly, and Ao learns it quickly. Their journey continues, and they make it all the way to Central Europe. Since there are few animals in this region, they are forced to survive on plants and seeds. One day, they discover a cave filled with large animal bones. Here, Ao notices traces belonging to her own people. As she goes deeper, she finds numerous skulls scattered around. Realizing that they belong to her own tribe, she gathers them all together and bids them farewell with respect. When she returns to Aki, she is suddenly attacked by a man she doesn't recognize. The man strikes Ao hard on the head, knocking her unconscious. This person is another Neanderthal. He then goes to a human tribe whose bodies are painted yellow. When the tribe learns that Ao and Aki have arrived, they set out to find them and become excited when they see Aki and Vana. Meeting a Neanderthal makes them happy. But when Ao appears, their reaction changes. Because of his appearance, they reject him just like the other Neanderthal. The tribe leader tells Ao to leave, even threatening to throw a spear at him. Ao, however, takes the leader's weapon and breaks it in two, wanting to show that he comes in peace. But the tribe does not accept him and drives him away by throwing stones. This situation angers Aki. He steps in front of Ao to protect him and says that he has to admit this place is not for him. These words deeply wound Ao. He leaves the cave and, as night falls, lights a fire outside. Amid the flames, he once again sees the image of his brother Oa, and this vision strengthens his resolve to continue on alone. Before setting out, he drops his fur cloak from the upper part of the cave. The fur lands next to Aki, and the young woman uses it to make a bed for Vana. The next morning, Ao goes off to hunt. However, in the forest, he encounters Aki. Ao is still hurt by what was said. As an apology, Aki places Vana in his arms, so that Ao can carry her as if she were his own daughter. Thus, the rift between them is completely healed, and the three set out together once again. During their journey, they find themselves in the midst of a great forest fire. At that moment, a herd of horses passes by them. No matter how beautiful the scenery is, Aki hasn't eaten for days, so her milk has dried up, and she can't nurse Vana. In this desperate situation, Ao goes off to hunt and comes across a mare and her foal. Thanks to Ao's bond with nature, the mare does not attack. She calms down and approaches. Aki manages to get some milk from the mare and feeds Vana. They both thank the animal and let it go free. After regaining their strength, they reach the place where Ao's tribe lives. Thinking she will be reunited with her brother, Ao excitedly calls out Oa's name. She hears the sound of a drum and, believing it to be Oa's response, runs to the cave. But the only thing she finds inside is a lamb's skin that makes a drumming sound when its foot hits a stake. A little further ahead, Ao finds Oa's lifeless body. When she sees that her brother is dead and her entire tribe has been destroyed, she is devastated and breaks down in tears. Then she crosses to the other side of the mountain and plays her flute one last time. She bids farewell to both her brother and the people she has lost. Then she throws the flute down the cliff, because now all hope for her tribe is completely gone. Even though she has lost her family and her people, Ao now realizes that she has a chance to build a new life with Aki and Vana. 4 years later, Ao is walking through a rural landscape. Vana is on her shoulder and Aki is pregnant with the couple's new baby. They have chosen to live far from people, fearing they might be ostracized by other tribes again. One day, the three of them stand by the seaside. While Ao is lighting a fire, Aki calls them over and, holding her belly, lets them listen to the baby's heartbeat. At that moment, Ao realizes that even if he is the last surviving Neanderthal, the blood of his people will live on through his soon-to-be-born son. Even centuries later, the extinction of the Neanderthals has not been fully explained.